movement.
Y ahora doy la palabra al distinguido delegado de Malawi, quien hablará en nombre de los estados africanos.
Mr. President, Excellencies, it is with great pleasure I address the General Assembly. Let me join colleagues who have spoken before me and add the African group and Malawi's voice for the necessity of ending the economic, commercial, and financial embargo imposed by the United States of America against Cuba that has been on the United Nations agenda for the past 18 years. Malawi, speaking on behalf of the African Group, the continent of Africa, as chair of the African Union, I reiterate the decision of the 15th Summit of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government that met in Kampala, Uganda, on the 27th of July 2010. Making a decision on the issues of sanctions on Cuba, the African Union called upon the government of the United States of America to remove the long-standing and unjustifiable economic and trade embargo imposed on the Republic of Cuba to enable it to enjoy all legitimate prospects for a sustained development which is long overdue. Mr. President, in his address before the plenary of the General Assembly on the 23rd of September 2010, His Excellency Ngwazi Professor Bingu wa Mutharika, President of the Republic of Malawi and Chairman of the African Union, stated categorically that sanctions have caused great economic hardship, especially to the poor and vulnerable in the targeted countries, including Cuba. On behalf of the African Union, he challenged those concerned to promote social progress and better standards of life, as set forth in the preamble of the Charter of the United Nations. We in Africa believe that it is now time to give dialogue a chance and allow Cuba to effectively contribute its fair share to global development by the United States lifting its long and standing embargo. The countries of Africa, like the majority of countries and member states of the UN, as can be seen from the voting trend over the years in the General Assembly, is of the view that it is high time that this embargo on the people of Cuba was lifted, considering that it has now been 50 years since it was imposed on the innocent people of Cuba. Children born after 1960, and now men and women, have not known anything else except the embargo on this beautiful country of so much potential and goodwill. It is time for change, and now is that time. The African Group and the African Union have the confidence that the current President Obama's administration can and should bring this change. Once again, the African Group, the African Union, and indeed Malawi calls for the immediate lifting of this embargo on beautiful Cuba. Your Excellencies, Mr. President, thank you very much for your attention.
Agradezco al representante de Malawi,
I thank the representative of
quien ha hablado
Malawi,
en nombre
who spoke
de la
on
Unión
behalf
Africana.
of the African Union.
Y doy ahora